Hey, documentation is done. You know, as hospice nurses, we don't say that too often. I know I don't for sure. Hey, y'all, I'm Shelly. I do tips for hospice nurses. And today I'm talking about one of my most favorite tips, and that is the documentation app for hospice nurses, or DAHN. This app is phenomenal. Phenomenal. You can build the most incredible notes in such a short amount of time that I'm actually finishing my documentation before I leave the patient's house. Now, y'all know I don't like to document in the home. I do it in the car, but still, I'm finishing it before I leave the house. So let me show you real quick how it works. Bear with me while I cue this up, and I'm going to show you how it works.
Your note, you're going to click Create New Note. Then you just pick your patient, and there is your patient with the header in there. And so see, you don't have to type that again because it's already in there. You're going to enter the encounter section. This is where you're going to type what you did that visit. This is very specific to each visit. Go back in when you look at the structure and notes section and read about what you put in your encounter note. That's what would go here. So I'm not going to type anything in here because I'm not doing a real encounter, but I would put all of that here. Then when you go to the assess section, this is the section in the heart structure where you provide an assessment of the system that is related to the patient's diagnosis. So this patient is on for COPD. So in this assess section, I'm going to do a pulmonary assessment. So I'm going to now go into DAHN, click on this here. I'm going to my diagnosis specific, and I'm going to look at pulmonary because she's on for pulmonary disease, and I'm going to do my pulmonary or respiratory assessment. So I'm going to click on that here, and I'm going to pick one of these that best meets my patient. Now remember, just because you pick these and copy them in, you can still edit them. So get whatever is closest and whatever you like the best. Like let's say for instance, number 2, everything in number 2 is perfect for my patient. My patient doesn't have fibrosis, she has COPD, but I'm still going to pick this one. I'm going to click it. I'm going to copy text. I go back to my note. It takes me back to this section, and I'm going to just paste it in right here. And I'm going to change the pulmonary fibrosis to advanced pulmonary disease. And let's say your patient doesn't require 6 liters of oxygen, they're on 4 liters. And I will put that in there. Now let's say I want to add a little bit more. I want to amp this one up a little bit. We're getting close to restart time. So I'm going to click here, and I can now go back into DAHN, and instead of diagnosis specific, I go to system specific, because this section, as we learned earlier, lists just a bunch of stuff that you can list. So I'm going to go respiratory, and I'm going to go to the assessment phrases. This first part is just teaching you key principles, but then go to assessment phrases, and I'm going to say, well, she struggles to speak 3 to 4 words. She's got pursed lip breathing, and she's unable to walk more than just a few steps. I'm going to put all of that in there because I want to really beef it up. And look, we have a lot of stuff you can choose from here. But I pick those, and then I click copy text, back to note. And I'm going to go back into my still assessment because that's where I'm adding this up at. And I'm going to paste them in. Now you do have to bring them together because they do come up as little separate statements. And I like to put mine all in that same paragraph. But that's all you have to do for that. So now you have a really comprehensive, great note pulmonary assessment that is going to support eligibility for your COPD patient. Then we're going to go to our reinforcement section. Now, this is where I can do something that is directly related to the COPD, or anything that supports decline and eligibility and gives that good picture of this very sick, terminally ill patient that we're taking care of. So I'm going to go back to this point. I'm going to do diagnosis specific. That way I know when I go pulmonary disease that every single thing in here is going to support eligibility for a patient who's on for a pulmonary disease. So let's just pick neurological. And let's say that I like number 1. I'll read through this, whatever supports it. This patient frequently loses track of conversation, requires repeated redirection, neurological decline is evident. And this is directly related to their COPD. So I'm going to click this one, copy text, back to note, and I'm going to put it in here under my reinforcement section. If you wanted to change anything in here, you could take something out or add something if you wanted to. Now for the targeted QA, this is if you are having to do extra quality notes. If your company requires that you document pain or nutrition in your nurse's note, you would do that here. If you're under any kind of performance improvement with your company right now, you would document whatever those requirements are here. So let's say that I just want to do nutrition. Then I'm going to go back into here. Now I'm still going to pick diagnosis specific because I want my note to be specific to pulmonary disease. And I'm going to pick my nutritional note. So anything that we have here is going to support eligibility for somebody who's on for a pulmonary disease. So I'm going to pick number 1, and remember I can edit it. So I'm going to pick number 1, copy text, back to my note. I'm going to put that in here. And let's say though my patient is unable to consume more than 30% of meals, I might say more than 50% for my patient. So I'll edit that part. And then in the summary, now you're going to end it. This is where you learn about the summary in the Hearts training on the other part of the app, where you're going to put the ending note. We don't have any summary notes in DAHN yet, but that's coming pretty soon too. I'm working on that right now. So I would think in the next few weeks we'll have some summary notes, but this is where you say that current hospice plan of care is meeting patient and caregiver needs. Patient has sufficient amount of medications and supplies. Patient verbalized understanding to call hospice. All of those things are what you put in the summary. So, you type that in here and then you add your note. And so now you can go and look at your note and you can see the encounter and what I put in for the encounter, the assessment, the reinforcement note, and the ending note. So when you want to add that note, all you have to do, anyone that you want to do, is you will just click the copy. And you can actually go out of the system if you go into your EMR and you can paste it into your EMR. And you see here is your note pasted perfectly into your EMR. So then the note is in your EMR.
And that's it. That's all you have to do to build these phenomenal notes in just minutes. So go to DAHN.ai or your app stores. Get it today, 30-day free trial. Y'all remember too, if we work together, we can change our world. And I love you guys, and y'all be safe out there.